Italy, 1947. 2 years since the war's end. Poverty plagues much of the country, fertile ground for communism, which promises a solution to economic ills and injustice. As membership of the Communist Party reaches 2 million, America fears that Italy and Western Europe could fall to communism.
The seeds of totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want. They spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife. They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died. We must keep that hope alive.
I was in the Navy. I volunteered. Well, basically to serve my country, and also I wanted the adventure. It gave me an opportunity to leave White Park, Minnesota, where I had lived my entire 17 years of life. I joined with a friend on what was called a buddy plan, which let us go through boot camp together. My job was a boiler technician. We fired the boilers to run the ship. All the power came from the boilers on the ship. My job was make repairs when necessary to keep the boiler operating condition, and at sea we would run from 8 to 12 boilers for providing ship power and launching of aircraft. I don't remember ever fearing that communism could ever take over the values of the United States, or that we could ever fail at defeating communism. Well, when the Bay of Pigs invasion came along, our ship was put on alert in case a war broke out. We went to sea and waited for orders. If we were needed, for help, we'd be called in, which never happened. Yeah, I was aboard ship in the Pacific Ocean on an aircraft carrier called the Coral Sea. Airplanes off our ship flew missions to Vietnam and would return to the ship to refuel and rearm with bombs and missiles for the next mission back. That was the only time that I had where we were in danger of any kind. We went to general quarters a couple of times because planes came towards our ships, and we'd send planes off of our ship, and they would go after these airplanes, and they'd go away. So my side of the war in Vietnam was all on the sea. Well, it was a time of growing up, a time of learning who you are and how you could handle the pressure of military life and discipline. in the end you find you could handle most any situation. And as a team you learn to eat, sleep, and work as close environment for months at a time, not seeing or coming into port with other people. Most of my service was spent in a peacetime Navy. We got to sail to many foreign ports such as Japan, China, Philippine Islands, and Canada. We also ported in the United States, ports up and down the west coast of California, from Long Beach, San Francisco, and Oakland. The home port of the ship was Alameda, California, of course.
My name is Roger Boyning. Well, it was because they didn't want communism to spread, and the United States was scared of Cuba being as close as it was, it would probably spread into the United States. Yes, I was. I was drafted in 1965. I mentioned I was Fort Benning, Georgia, basic training, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for engineer training basically, and Fort Campbell, Kentucky was my stateside duty, and I was stationed in Phu Thai, Vietnam during the Vietnam War. I was a door gunner, a helicopter. So I wasn't in the weeds and in brush. I basically flew over it most of the time. And when I was at my base at Phu Thai, I basically was on the base, and I take wounded prisoners back to their companies after you get medical help. Well, it's a beautiful country. It's a third world country, like I say, and it's a beautiful country, and like I say, it was another thing about communism. The North was communist, and the South was basically, wasn't communist, it was more of a religious. And they wanted the United States did not want the North to overtake the South, which it is today. So. Oh, yes, I do. I don't usually share a whole lot of them, but yeah, it's quite an experience. I mean, you don't know what it feels like being shot at and, shoot somebody. Yeah, that's not the nicest thing to do. But like I say, when you're on guard duty for the first night, it's for real. And I guess my first experience when I first got to Saigon in 1960s, well, that'd be late fall of '66. I got put on a bus, and I asked the driver why the windows had chicken wire on them. He said that's because that way people can't throw explosives in there and try to kill you. And that was my first experience of knowing that somebody actually wanted to kill me. Well, like I said, Vietnam was a very, very pretty country. It was a third world country, and it was a whole lot, different from me coming from, and the sights and sounds and stuff. And I had a few things I didn't like about the war. I said,
Yeah.
And a couple of them I didn't like. I didn't like the use of napalm. I did not like using that on civilians and whoever else. I didn't like also Agent Orange, which I've got a problem with that. Napalm is a white phosphorus type gasoline type thing that it used to bomb, and it would come out, it would burn you. That's basically what it did. And then Agent Orange was a defoliant you used to they fly over trees and anything, brush or anything, you'd kill all the leaves and everything. They just killed any vegetation at all. They just killed it. No, I just like I said, I came home and no parade, no bands, and no thank you. Today I'm still hurt.